How to calculate and apply for job seekers' pay-related benefit. The rate of job seekers' pay-related benefit is based on and linked to your previous earnings and is available for those who have paid enough PRSI contributions. We have created this calculator to assist PAYE workers with the rate payable for their particular circumstances. We have this step-by-step guide on how to use the calculator and where to locate it, together with the data needed to complete it. This video is the fourth of 4 in a series the company Boyle Payroll Project Management, BPPM, have done for Payroll Matters in Ireland regarding the application for the pay-related job seekers benefit. Boyle Payroll Project Management is Ireland's leading premier payroll outsource provider for processing payroll for small businesses and also provides tax agency services for PAYE workers who wish to have someone look after their general PAYE tax affairs, complete their PAYE income tax returns, together with many other pay-related services such as answering pay and tax-related queries. If you wish to make an inquiry about any of these services, simply pop an email to info@bppm.ie. The weekly rate of payroll-related job seekers benefit for those with at least 5 years or 260 weeks of PRSI contributions will be set at 60% of previous earnings, subject to a maximum of €450 per week for the first 13 weeks, as seen here in this example. 55% of prior income up to €375 per week for the next 13 weeks. 50% of prior income up to €300 per week for the final 13 weeks. For those with 2 to 5 years of PRSI contributions, the rate is 50% of prior income up to €300 for 26 weeks, as you can see here in this example. How to use our job seekers pay-related benefit calculator. The first question on our calculator is about the situation you were in immediately before you were made unemployed. The options are working as normal, on illness benefit, on maternity benefit, on adoptive benefit, on health and safety benefit, on carers benefit. If you were receiving other benefits, such as maternity or illness benefit, when you lost your job, different conditions may apply. For these options, this calculator job seekers pay-related benefit in Ireland does not deal with them. If you were on maternity benefit and lost your job, you may need to wait until your maternity leave ends before applying for job seekers pay-related benefit. If you were receiving illness benefit, you may need to transition to job seekers benefit or job seekers pay-related benefit once you are deemed fit for work. Contact your local Intreo centre if you require guidance on transition from maternity or illness benefit to job seekers pay-related benefit. And the second question relates to your PRSI class. And the choices here are A, H or P. Class A. Most employees in the private and public sectors are in this class. Class H, members of the Defence Forces. Class P are for share fishermen who pay PRSI at a lower rate. Eligibility for job seekers pay-related benefit. To qualify, you must have at least 104 PRSI contributions at Class A, H or P over your working life. At least 4 PRSI contributions at class A or H in the 10 weeks before applying. At least 26 PRSI contributions at class A or H in the 52 weeks before unemployment. The number of insurable contributions in the last 10 weeks before unemployment. At least 4 PRSI contributions must have been paid at class A or H in the 10 weeks before applying. Notice the additional comment in the purple coloured cell below as you toggle between the two choices here. The number of insurable weeks in the last 52 weeks before unemployment. You must have at least 26 PRSI contributions at class A or H in the 52 weeks before unemployment, and the drop down menu here on our calculator reflect the choices you have to answer this question. Again, see the message here in the purple cell when 25 or less is chosen. Number of insurable weeks during your working life. To qualify, you must have at least 104 weeks or 2 full years contributions at class A, H or P over your working life. You can see here on our calculator the options. You can find the answer to these questions on the previous videos in this series called How and Where to Find the Number and Class of Your PRSI Contributions. The next question here is reckonable earnings in the 52-week period ending 8 weeks before the first date of your unemployment. A person's reckonable weekly earnings will be calculated based on the person's reckonable gross earnings in the 52-week period ending 8 weeks before they became unemployed. This amount is divided by the total number of qualifying contributions paid at class A or H in that 52-week period. Exceptions apply where a person was previously in receipt of specific other social welfare payments that we do not deal with here. These previous earnings refer to the average gross weekly income you earned in the 12 months before losing your job. You can get them from the previous video guide we did in this series on accessing your employment detail summary on your Revenue My account, and it is called How to Get a Statement of Earnings on Revenue My account. All you need to put into the calculator is the annual figure. For example, €36,400 is equal to €700 per week, as per the Department of Social Protection and Revenue, which is 36,400 divided by 52 when the person had 52 weeks of insurable employment in the previous 52 weeks. If you earned €700 per week before unemployment and have 5+ years of PRSI contributions, this is the result as determined by our calculator. For our calculator, you don't need to know the average weekly amount. You just put in the total reckonable earnings and the insurable weeks, and the calculator does the rest. The following details are for illustrative purposes, and you don't need to be concerned about or remember the details, as the calculator does all this. 60% of €700 is €420 per week for the first 13 weeks. 55% of €700 is €385 per week, but subject to the maximum of €375 per week for the next 13 weeks. 50% of €700 is €350 per week, but subject to the maximum of €300 per week for the final 13 weeks. This reform of the job seeker's pay-related benefit aims to align Ireland's social protection system with other EU countries and provide better support during unemployment. If you were receiving maternity benefit or illness benefit when you lost your job, different conditions may apply when claiming job seeker's pay-related benefit. See the pop-up note here on our calculator to remind you of this. The total amount of job seeker's pay-related benefit payable at any time shall be rounded up to the nearest 10 cents, and the amounts are outlined in these 3 cells for the first 13 weeks, the next 13 weeks, and the last 13 weeks. Where to locate the job seeker's pay-related benefit calculator? Proceed to Boyle Payroll Project Management's website, bppm.ie. On the drop-down menu here on Payroll Services, scroll down to Job Seeker's Pay-related Benefit Calculator. Applying for the job seeker's pay-related benefit. To apply for the job seeker's pay-related benefit in Ireland, you will need to follow these steps. 1. Check eligibility. As we have outlined, ensure you meet the PRSI contribution conditions and other criteria, such as being fully unemployed on or after the 31st of March 2025. However, a person between 66 and 70 years of age who was born on or after the 1st of January 1958 may be entitled to receive job seekers' pay-related benefit where they defer drawing down their state contributory pension and satisfy all the qualifying conditions for the payment, including being available for full-time work and genuinely seeking work. For example, persons aged between 65 and 66 years of age may receive job seekers' pay-related benefit if they have not retired from employment. Where their entitlement to job seekers' pay-related benefit has exhausted, they may receive this payment beyond 39 or 26 weeks, whichever is applicable, up to the date on which they reach pensionable age of 66 years, provided they have not less than 156 paid contributions since first entering employment. If the person has retired, benefit payment for 65-year-olds is the appropriate scheme for them. 2. Gather the documents as we have shown in the previous video guide in this series. 3. Prepare the necessary documents, including proof of unemployment, PRSI contribution records, and personal identification. 4. Applications can be made through your local Insurable centre or online via the Department of Social Protection's website. 5. You need to apply within 6 weeks of losing your job, or this could impact your entitlement. Verifying your identification for a job seeker's pay-related benefit. To get job seeker's pay-related benefit, your identity must be verified to SAFE Safe Level 2. This applies to both online and paper applications. If already verified at Safe Level 2, you can use online services through your verified MyGov ID account. If not yet verified, the quickest and most convenient way to verify is through the MyGov ID app. You can also visit your local Insurable centre or social welfare branch office to complete your SAFE, your Safe Level 2 registration. Once registered, you will have access to all MyGov ID online services, including applying for job seekers payments. Complete the application, fill out the application form accurately and submit it along with the required documents. await confirmation. Once your application is processed, you will receive confirmation of your eligibility and payment details. For more detailed guidance, you can visit the official government page or the Citizens Information website. How to complete the application form for job seekers pay-related benefit. Go to mywelfare.ie. Click on Out of Work Payments. Select Job Seekers. Find out more. Scroll down to see all the information. Select Apply Now. Log in to your account. Questions re-eligibility. Please note that there are some exceptions to the eligibility criteria for the job seekers pay-related benefit in Ireland. If your employment is part-time, casual or seasonal, or if it is based around the school or academic year, you may not qualify for this benefit. Instead, you can apply for the standard job seekers benefit. Employment before the 28th of March 2025. If your last day of employment was before the 28th of March 2025, you will not qualify for the job seekers pay-related benefit. However, you may still be eligible for other unemployment supports. We are not dealing with any exceptions in this video guide, but we may do a separate guide if there is a requirement for us to do so. These screens are an overview of questions you will be asked throughout your application, like employment and training, etc. Select Begin Application. Confirm your address or edit, and then save and continue. The payment is made through the post office, so select the address of the post office closest to you from the list and click Save and Continue. On this screen, choose why you were applying for pay-related job seekers benefit. Answer questions relating to your reason and scroll down. When you have answered all the questions, click Save and Continue. Enter the date you wish to start your claim. Based on the information provided, you may be eligible for the pay-related job seekers payment. If you are unsuccessful, you can choose to apply for job seekers allowance at a later date. If you choose yes, you will be sent the application through your My Welfare. This screen shows a summary of your application. Scroll down through the summary details of your application. If you need to edit anything, you can do so. Scroll to the end. Read the declaration to confirm you have read it. Click on the Save and Continue when you are happy that all is in order. You are now in the final part of the application, so click Continue to the next section. Complete questions as appropriate as you scroll down to the end. At the end, click Save and Continue. Complete questions and the mutual commitments between you and the DSP as appropriate as you scroll down to the end. Select Acknowledge and submit your application. Your application has now been submitted and you can return to the home page of your account. Now all you need to do is to keep an eye on your notifications. Appeals. If you are unhappy with a decision, you can appeal it. You should appeal within 21 days of the decision, and you can ask for an oral hearing. The easiest and quickest way to make your appeal is online on mywelfare.ie. All you need is a verified MyGovID account. You can get a verified MyGov account if you have a public services card, a verified mobile phone number, and an email address. An appeals officer whose decision is final will then decide on your case. Some cases can be decided without an oral hearing. If new information comes to light or your circumstances change, you can apply for Jobseeker's pay-related benefit again. I hope the above clarifies things. My final important message before I leave you for now is, can I ask those of you that have not already done so to hit the subscribe button so you can get an alert every time we post a new video guide, as we have many more helpful pay, income tax and other work-related guides and videos to bring you. It costs you nothing to subscribe, but could help you save hundreds or even thousands of euro into your hand on pay and tax. Go on, hit that subscribe button. Go on. See you next time.